You're listening to Manx Radio, and I'm Judith Lay, welcoming you to the podcast of Today at the Guild, results and winning performances from the Manx Music, Speech and Dance Festival.
Manx Radio coverage of the Manx Music Festival is brought to you with Spectrum Windows. Find them on Facebook or spectrumwindows.im.
Faster I, very good evening to you. I thought as Sundown is a little bit different this week, we'd have a little bit of different music to start. We haven't heard this one for ages, have we? We haven't had our Hey Jude theme tune for quite a while. And this is Jude saying good evening and welcome, yes, to our virtual late lounge. We've always got the lounge door open from 9 o'clock on a Sunday night, always. And as usual, Graham will be in the kitchen and there's plenty of comfy chairs all set there to welcome you in. But what is going to be a bit different is we're going to start the show with some coverage of the first weekend of the Manx Music Festival. The 131st Guild started bright and early yesterday morning with classes in the Royal Hall and in the Promenade Suite. Classes went on today, and we also brought in to play St Thomas's Church, beautiful venue and perfect for the classes that were held there today. We've heard some fine performances already, seen some terrifically high marks, and we're only in day 2. I had to tear myself away from the villa tonight. Well, it wasn't. It was just a bit of a choice because there was some fantastic brass band music being played. It's of course the concert class tonight, but of course it would have been lovely to stay and listen and find out who were the winning performances. But of course, I do love being in the lounge with you, so it was a win-win kind of thing for me. So what will we be doing between now and 11 o'clock? Well, I'll be telling you about all the performances that have taken place over these last 2 days, playing you some winning music. Got a great variety. We've got some fantastic folk songs that I know you're going to love, and some brilliant brass music too. And also news of winning performances in lots of other classes too. So I think what we need to do now is get started.
Manx Radio's coverage of the Manx Music Festival is brought to you with Spectrum Windows. Find them on Facebook or spectrumwindows.im.
Now, the Royal Hall was really busy yesterday and particularly last night, and I think that was because of the variety of classes, and that's very much been a big feature of this weekend. It's been almost like a big variety show. And yes, I will be dropping the hint that I would love you to come down and see us if you can. There's a real bargain on the tickets, and I'll tell you about that, and also about the food. Tell you about that a little bit later. And it's really traditional that we start off the Guild with the solo brass players down in the Promenade Suite. It's always an interesting class because this features a lot of our younger players who are really finding their feet with their music, and most of them are members of bands already or feeder bands for the brass bands around the island. But it's lovely to hear these youngsters playing, and then as the day goes on we hear some ensembles and again young players, and we finish off the evening with some fabulous solo playing from some of our more experienced and established players. So it's a day of great music if you're a band enthusiast, but if you just like music, it's a great day too. And in a moment we'll be hearing some of those young players. But also yesterday, whilst that was going on in the Promenade Suite, in the Royal Hall, on stage there, we had several folk song classes. Now, I love these because, again, what is a folk song? It's very wide interpretation. You can go back many, many years for very traditional folk songs, and there are modern-day folk songs too, as we will hear. And this gentleman went up on the stage with his usual very relaxed style, his incredible voice, and well, in actual fact, it was such a moving performance that I actually saw one or two people in the audience who were moved to tears as Terence Qualtrough sang this.
Sometimes I feel like Sometimes I feel like a motherless child, a long ways from home, a long ways from home. True believer, a long ways from home, a long ways from home. Sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone. Sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone. Sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone. Way up in that heavenly land. Way up in that heavenly land. True believer, way up in that heavenly land, way up in that heavenly land. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. A long ways from home.
Terence Qualtrough with the traditional spiritual Sometimes I Feel Like a Motherless Child, and Terence was accompanied by Wendy McDowell. He was first placed in the adult folk song class with a very well-earned 89 marks. Now, the second place singer, by no coincidence, shares the same surname, and it was Terence's daughter Sarah who took second place with a very different song, but just 1 mark separating them. Listen to Sarah now, her second place performance in the adult folk song class. This is Sarah Qualtrough.
My young love said to me, my mother won't mind, and my father won't slight you for your lack of kind. And she stepped away from me, and this she did say, it will not be long, love, till our wedding day. She stepped away from me, and she moved through the fir, and fondly I watched her move here and move there, and then she turned homeward with one star awake, like a swan in the never was said. And I smiled as she passed with her goods and her gear. And that was the last that I saw of my dear. Last night she came to me, my dead love came in. So softly she came that her feet made no din. As she laid her hand on me, and this she did say, it will not be long, love, till our wedding day.
You know, you can tell when the audience is absolutely spellbound with music, when there's just that pause, when the singer finishes and the applause starts. That's the moment when you're just sort of taking a breath. Beautiful singing there from Sarah Qualtrough. So we came to the adjudication, and the adjudicator, she is terrific. She is a very, very skilled adjudicator, but also a very engaging character. Sarah Jeffries, great communicator, lovely sense of humour, obviously very, very experienced, as are all the adjudicators. But of course, she's new to the island, and she adjudicated the whole of the adult folk song class, and I can promise you I've got some more music from this class for you to enjoy before this report is out. But she announced the winner, and then she announced the second place, and she hesitated for a moment, and she said, "You're not by any chance related, are you?" And of course, everybody laughed, and she was told that Terence and Sarah are father and daughter. Well, she was thrilled with that. And then she discovered that Mum Jill was in the audience and Wendy McDowell, the accompanist. She had everybody up on the stage. But she turned to the Qualtrough family, to Terence and Sarah and Jill, and she said, I would love to come and spend Christmas at your house. She said, the music must be fantastic. It's become evident that listening to Sarah Jeffries adjudicating other classes, she loves family connections and carrying on of traditions. I'll tell you a little bit more about that later on, but that's obviously tremendously important to her. But like all our adjudicators, year on year, they all say the same thing. What wonderful tradition of music we have here on the island. The rich variety, it's not just one particular discipline that we excel in, that we cross all the genres and all the, from instrumental to vocal and every type of vocal. Well, we know that, don't we? But we love that our adjudicators discover that too. Right, let's take a little break, and I'm going to play some brass music for you. Instrumental solos from young players coming up right after this.
The Nation Station, Manx Radio.
Manx Radio's coverage of the Manx Music Festival is brought to you with Spectrum Windows. Find them on Facebook or spectrumwindows.im.
Now, come with me to the Promenade Suite. And this was 10 o'clock yesterday morning. It was the start of the Manx Music Festival. And we started with the brass solo instrument class for players up to 11 years of age. So, as I was saying before, these are some of our up-and-coming players. And it was a second place for William Gerard, playing trombone, and he chose the beautifully haunting Skyboat song, and a first place with just a mark ahead at 87 marks, Aelan Morgans, and his choice was Tequila Sunrise by Pam Wedgwood, playing trumpet. This is Aelan Morgans, and the accompanist for this class is Naomi Cole. Great playing there from young soloist Aelan Morgans and his accompanist Naomi Cole, and that was Tequila Sunrise. And congratulations to Aelan, won the class with 87 marks. Let's listen now to Benjamin Wells playing his trombone with one of my favourite tunes. Now, Benjamin won the brass solo class for players school years 7 and 8. Again, young players, very high standard in the class. Alyssa Gerard was in second place, but that was just 1 mark behind Benjamin with 87 marks. And don't imagine that these are performances that you're not going to hear, because we've got lots of coverage of the Guild to bring you over these days right up to next Sunday night. So lots of opportunity for me to go back to the classes and play more music from them. It's just a question of I'm trying to get a nice mix of music for you at this stage. So here we are with the Bare Necessities playing trombone. It's class-winning performance from Benjamin Wells. Wasn't that great? Well done, Benjamin Wells. Class-winning performance there, and the Bare Necessities. Now, let me tell you about some more winning performances. Again, this is music that I'll bring you at another point, but I'll tell you who all the winners were. We followed that yesterday afternoon with brass solo for 14 and 15-year-olds, and that produced first place for cornet player Thomas Shimmin. He had 88 marks. Second place there was Liam Taverner, somebody else from a very musical family. And the class we followed that was with the brass solo for 16 to 18-year-olds. And we had 89 marks for class winner Emma Corlett, and Shay Mackey, again somebody from a very musical family. Shay Mackey was in second place there with I Dreamed a Dream. That's a very well-known tune. And he was playing tenor horn. And then, yesterday evening, there was a great buzz down in the Promenade Suite, and lots of people in the audience for some really top-class entertainment. Not that the day hadn't been, it had, but it just went on building and getting better and better. And it was the ensembles, quartets and adult solos last night in the Promenade Suite. And we had some, again, high marks to start with the brass ensemble for up to 15-year-olds, players up to 15-year-olds. And we had a win there for Manx Youth Band B with 88 marks, and snapping on their heels with the junior brass ensemble from Castle Rushen High School. And they played Pharrell Williams' Happy was their choice, and they were second placed behind Manx Youth Band B, who had a Disney selection, and Castle Rushen High School junior brass ensemble were in second place, playing Pharrell Williams' big hit Happy. And it was a very happy performance, as you will hear when we play that a little bit later in our Guild coverage. Then we had the next class was an open class for brass ensemble. And we had some fine players there. Manx Youth Band had a couple of ensembles in. Concert Brass had an ensemble in who did very well indeed. Manx Concert Brass A played a beautiful arrangement, an Alan Fernie arrangement of Gershwin's Summertime, played beautifully. And they got 91 marks. And you might well think, class winner there? Well, there's many a time when a mark of 91, bearing in mind that marks of 90 and upwards are very rarely given. Very, very rarely given. So that could have been a class win, but They were picked at the post by Ramsey Grammar School Pep Band, a band of, I think there were about 11 members there, brass and percussion, and they chose 3 pieces. They made a little concert out of 3 pieces. You're going to listen to one of the pieces now, and for this, Ramsey Grammar School Pep Band took first place with 93 marks. And as you can hear, very, very popular performance there. That was just part, 1/3 of Ramsey Grammar School's pep band performance. They also performed Levitating by Dua Lipa and Mambo No. 5. Do you remember that one from Lou Bega? And we'll have a bit more from the pep band from Ramsey Grammar School a little bit later in the programme. But there's also a video. Now, that's something else that we're doing this year. We've got our wonderful Chris Quirk, who is out and about all around the place, and he is catching up with people after they have come off stage, obviously, because there is no filming or anything like photography whilst people are performing. But what he's doing is catching up with people when they come either off stage or sometimes outside the villa and doing a little bit of filming. And that's what he did last evening with the pep band. So that will be shortly up online, it'll be on Manx Radio's YouTube channel, and you can actually see them standing outside the Villa Marina performing that Coco, a third of their performance. Let's get back to our coverage. And what we're going to do now, we've had a bit of brass band music, so we're going to take a little break, and then we're going to go back to the folk song classes, because I've got a lovely variety of music for you to listen to there. And also, when we've had a little bit more folk song music, I will give you some results, because we've had lots of dance classes in the Royal Hall today. That's become very much a feature of the first weekend. On the Saturday morning, we've got the folk dancing, traditional dancing. I'll tell you all about the results of that. And then Sunday is ballet and tap, group modern dance, ballet solos. And so it is the Sunday at the Guild is the day if you really love that kind of dancing. And lots of people do. We had some big audiences in the Royal Hall today and some fine dancing. Tell you more about that very shortly.
Station, Manx Radio.
Manx Radio's coverage of the Manx Music Festival is brought to you with Spectrum Windows. Find them on Facebook or spectrumwindows.im.
And for our next piece of music, we're going back to the adult folk song class. And this was a fine performance by somebody who... He just reminds me of my very, very early days of doing the Guild coverage, which is probably a few years ago now. And it was when we didn't have a Villa Marina and we had the split sites. We would remember we were at the Promenade Church, we were in the Gaiety Theatre. Where else were we? We were all over the place, all around about the area of the villa. But of course, we didn't have the villa; it was being all refurbished. And I remember this little boy, a member of the Gale Force, a theatre group, and under the direction of Mrs. Barbara Gale. And I remember him giving a fine performance of Hello Little People. And he had a big cloth cap on, which he took off during the song as he said hello to the little people. It was absolutely enchanting. He's a grown-up man with a fantastic voice now, and he's having a great guild, and he's Richard Corlett. And let's listen to him now. And this is in the folk song, the adult folk song class, where he's giving a charming performance of a song, traditional song, The Rattling Bog. This is Richard Corlett.
Oh, row the rattling bog, the bog down in the valley, oh. Rare bog, a rattling bog, the bog down in the valley, oh. And in that bog there was a hole, a rare hole, a rattling hole. Hole in the bog down in the valley, oh. Oh, row the rattling bog, the bog down in the valley, oh. Rare bog, a rattling bog, the bog down in the valley, oh. And in that hole there was a tree, a rare tree, a rattling tree. Tree in the hole, in the hole, in the bog down in the valley, oh. Oh, row the rattling bog, the bog down in the valley, oh. Rare bog, a rattling bog, the bog down in the valley, oh. And on that tree there was a branch, a rare branch, a rattling branch. Branch on the tree, in the hole, in the hole, in the bog down in the valley, oh. Oh, row the rattling bog, the bog down in the valley, oh. Rare bog, a rattling bog, the bog down in the valley, oh. And on that branch there was a twig, a rare twig, a rattling twig. Twig on the branch, and the branch on the tree, in the hole, in the hole, in the bog down in the valley, oh. Oh, row the rattling bog, the bog down in the valley, oh. Rare bog, a rattling bog, the bog down in the valley, oh. And on that twig there was a nest, a rare nest, a rattling nest. Nest on the twig, and the twig on the branch, and the branch on the tree, in the hole, in the hole, in the bog down in the valley, oh. Oh, row the rattling bog, the bog down in the valley, oh. Rare bog, a rattling bog, the bog down in the valley, oh. In that nest there was an egg, a rare egg, a rattling egg. Egg in the nest on the twig, and the twig on the branch, and the branch on the tree, in the hole, in the hole, in the bog down in the valley, oh. Oh, row a rattling bog down in the valley, oh. Rare bog, a rattling bog, the bog down in the valley, oh. And in that egg there was a bird, a rare bird, a rattling bird. Bird in the egg, and the egg in the nest on the twig, and the twig on the branch, and the branch on the tree, in the hole, in the hole, in the bog down in the valley, oh. Oh, row the rattling bog down in the valley, oh. Rare bog, a rattling bog, the bog down in the valley, oh. And on that bird there was a feather, a rare feather, a rattling feather. The feather on the bird, and the bird in the egg, and the egg in the nest on the twig, and the twig on the branch, the tree in the hole, in the bog down in the valley, oh. Oh, row the rattling bog, the bog down in the valley, oh. Rare bog, a rattling bog, the bog down in the valley, oh. Oh, row the rattling bog, the bog down in the valley, oh. Rare bog, a rattling bog, the bog down in the valley, oh.
Well, he certainly got the audience with him there, didn't he? And I think one of those songs would be the worst possible nightmare to remember all those words. But he did it. Richard Corlett and the Rattling Bog. Now, that wasn't a class-winning performance for Richard. Although he got a very creditable mark, he was at 87 marks. But he did have a very, very good afternoon and won a class in St Thomas's Church this afternoon. I don't have any music from that for you as yet, but I will have, because you will imagine that there's only so much music that we can get ready for each day's coverage. But just because the day goes, it doesn't mean that you won't be hearing it. You will, I can promise you, but it will be in one of our slightly later programmes. But congratulations to Richard Corlett, who in the general vocal solo in St Thomas's Church this afternoon took first place with 87 marks and chose lovely song by Michael Head, and that was A Dog's Life. So we look forward to listening to Richard singing that in one of our later coverage of the Guild, of which there will be a lot here on Manx Radio. We'd love you to come down to the Royal Hall or pop into St Thomas's Church when we've got classes there. But if you can't do that, you know what I always say, stay with us here on Manx Radio and we will bring the Guild to you. We'll do our very best to bring you all the atmosphere as well as the winning performances too. And it has been a great atmosphere this weekend. Got off to a terrific start. Little reminder, £5 is all you need for a ticket for a day. And with that ticket, you can stay the whole day, into the evening as well. You could move between the Promenade Suite and the Royal Hall if you listen to some classes in one place and then go downstairs, go to the Promenade Suite, back up for the evening. One ticket will take you anywhere in the Villa Marina, morning, noon or night, all on the same day. So it really is quite good value. You can see a lot, you can see and hear a lot of great entertainment for £5. And we've also got slightly different catering arrangements this year. I'll tell you about that when we've listened to another excellent performance, another performance that gathered up 90 marks for class winner Kasia Ashton. Now, Kasia was singing in the folk song class for 14 to 18-year-olds. Again, our adjudicator was Sarah Jeffries, the same lady who was just loving finding all the family connections with the Qualtroughs and all of that. So Sarah Jeffries was loving what she was hearing. And so that was 90 marks awarded to Kasia Ashton for this performance in the folk song class for 15 to 18-year-olds. Her choice is False, False.
False, false, have you been to me, my love? How often will you change your
90 marks awarded to Kasia Ashton, and obviously a class winner there in the folk song class for ages 15 to 18. And the accompanist there was David Kilgallen. The thing I love about the folk song classes, irrespective of the age group, whether they're adults or younger singers, it's the variety. We can go to for traditional songs that have had a more modern arrangement, or very traditional ones that are sung in the style in which they were written. It's just the richness of the variety of folk. Second place, just 1 mark behind, in that same folk song class, we had Zach Colligon, and his choice was The Parting Glass.
Of all the money that here I've had, I've spent it in good company, and of all the harm that here I've done, alas, it was to none but me. Of all I've done for want of wit, to memory now I can't recall. Come fill to me the parting glass. Good night and joy be with you all. Of all the comrades that here I've had, they are sorry for my going away, and of all the sweethearts that here I've had, they would wish me one more day to stay. But since it fell unto my lot that I should rise and you should not, I'll gently rise and I'll softly call. Good night and joy be with you all. A man may drink and not be drunk. A man may fight and not be slain. A man may court a pretty girl and still be welcome back again. But since it has so ordered been, by a time to rise and a time to fall, come fill to me the parting glass. Good night and joy be with you all. Come fill to me the parting glass. Good night and joy be with you all.
A very emotional rendering there from Zach Colligan and The Parting Glass. And I have to say, that song always reminds me of the film Waking Ned, but it always reminds me of the end of that film, which of course has very strong island links, doesn't it? Zach Colligan and The Parting Glass. Great performance, took him to second place, 89 for Zach. Right, let me tell you about some dance results, because That was how we started in the Royal Hall. Whilst the brass instrumentalists were playing away down in the Promenade Suite, we had some lovely dancing up on stage in the Royal Hall yesterday morning. And there were lots of fine dancing from Russian Primary School. They had a couple of teams of dancers in, but great dancing also from Skedden Jerg and from Perrybane. And so we started off with the first class was for Manx folk dancing up to 11-year-olds, dancers age up to 11. That was the top age limit for this class. And we had a first place for Skedden Jerg and a second place for Perrybane Beg. And then we moved on to country or national dancing, slightly older dancers, and this was going up to 18-year-olds. And I'm just looking at the lower, it was about 11 to 18-year-olds for this one. And it's an own choice class, whatever you choose to dance, as long as it comes under the general umbrella of country or national dancing. And with Leandor's Jig, we had a first place for Perrybane Egg. Manx folk dancing, again up to 18-year-olds. And we had a duel between Skedden Jerg and Perrybane Egg. And there was just a mark in it. Skedden Jerg edged ahead to take a class win with 88 marks, and Perrybane Egg was just one behind at 87. One of my favourite classes, Morris or Sword Dance, and this was it produced 3 teams from Perrybane, and it was Perrybane Egg, Perrybane Beg and Perrybane. And it was Perrybane who won with 86, but Perrybane Egg was just behind them with 85. So very similar in standard there. Not a lot to choose between. Incidentally, Rachel Clarkson adjudicating these dance classes. And again, we had another head-to-head for the country and national dancing in the adult class. We had a head-to-head again between teams from Skedden Jerg and Perrybane. And it was Skedden Jerg who edged ahead and took a class win with 88 marks. Now, a class that was in the Royal Hall yesterday afternoon was a folk song class for the young singers. And I'm not going to say too much about that now because it was beautiful singing that I'm going to play for you in the next hour of the programme. So we'll come back to that. We had a terrific night in the Royal Hall last night. And again, it was like another variety show, really. And we started it with this new class that was introduced first for this year, and this was Dragging It Up, where competitors were invited to perform a RuPaul-style open cabaret act. Either it could have been solo, duet or a group performance. In actual fact, there were 3 individual performances and of a very high standard. And the adjudicator, Sarah Jeffries, who again is very experienced in all the different genres, she was full of praise for the Guild for its inclusivity. And those who took part, Matea, Dahlia and Elle, were all very grateful for the opportunity to be part of something that they've grown up alongside, and we're glad that there was a part for drag in this. And it was Mathea who was the winner with 89 marks, but Dahlia close behind with 88 and Elle with 87, so very evenly matched there. And then we went on to vocal ensemble, and Sarah Jeffries again was very amusing, very, very detailed in her adjudication. But of course, the rules for a vocal ensemble mean that a choir that has a great number of people in can draw out small ensembles from within their whole choir, because the rules are there must be a minimum of 8 singers and a maximum of 12. But there's, as you know, we've got many choirs who've got, 20 odd, 30 members. So it's quite easy to pick out a couple of ensembles, as was the case with 2 of our choirs. But Sarah Jeffries was very funny because she reckoned they were the same people who'd gone away and got changed into a different outfit and come back and sang again. But we know better, don't we? And we will talk about that, the vocal ensembles, give you the results of that, tell you about that. And also, I'll tell you about the class that finished the evening in the Royal Hall last night, which was Anything Goes.
Manx Radio's coverage of the Manx Music Festival is brought to you with Spectrum Windows. Find them on Facebook or spectrumwindows.im.
And just before we play some more music, can I remind you that if you're in the lounge, and there's quite a few people in the lounge, I'm looking around and seeing there's lots of familiar faces there, that you can always text me 166 177 or email studio@manxradio.com if you're going to stay in the lounge for a little while, which of course I hope you are, and you would like to choose some music in our sundown style for us to play and enjoy together after 11 o'clock. I would love to hear from you. So do feel free to email with, if you just want me to say hello to you or somebody that you're thinking of tonight, or if indeed you would like to choose some music by one of your favourite artists or a song that brings back some happy memories for you, special memories. Let's see if we can do all of that. It will be our usual sundown in the lounge from 11 o'clock onwards. And we will have a little bit of local music, not directly connected with the Guild, but I had so many requests to play this particular song that I'll be finishing off this hour with, that this is, if you were one of the many people who said, please play that music by Gareth Moore, then your wish is granted. Stay with me, and just before 11 o'clock, I will be playing what was described to me by so many people as one of the most cheerful and uplifting things they've heard in a long time. I hope this is going to be cheerful and uplifting for you as well. We're going back to the Pep Band, Ramsey Grammar School Pep Band, from their 93 mark class-winning performance. This is Mambo No. 5 from the Ramsey Grammar School Pep Band. Brass and percussion, the Ramsey Grammar School Pep Band and Mambo No. 5. Just another part of their class-winning performance. Now, we are going back to some more folk songs. This time, we're going to the class that we had in the Royal Hall at the start of yesterday afternoon. And this is the folk song class for singers aged, they're quite young singers, because we've got singers 9 to 13 years of age. And again, lovely choice of very different music and some beautiful voices. It was a class win for Catherine McLean, and her choice was a very traditional English folk song. She took a class win with 87 marks, and let's listen to her now. Catherine McLean and The Water is Wide.
Cross
Somebody else from a very talented musical family and very gifted family, Catherine McLean there, one of the younger members of the McLean family, and she took a class-winning performance there in the folk song for singers aged 9 to 13, and Catherine won with that performance of The Water is Wide with 87 marks, and her accompanist this class, David Kilgallen. Now, just 1 mark behind, keeping up the very high standard. Second place in this class went to Penny Lavery. Her choice was The Lake Isle of Innisfree. Let's listen now to Penny Lavery.
I've met some folk who say that I'm a dreamer. Doubt there's truth in what they say, but sure a body's bound to be a dreamer gold dust, I still would choose my Isle of Innisfree.
And that was a lot of appreciation for Penny Lavery and the Lake Isle of Innisfree, and the class accompanist for this folk song for singers aged 9 to 13 was David Kilgallen. And Penny was second placed, just one mark behind Catherine McLean in that folk song class.
Manx Radio.
Manx Radio's coverage of the Manx Music Festival is brought to you with Spectrum Windows. Find them on Facebook or spectrumwindows.im.
Now, let's get back to our guild coverage now, and we're staying with the folk songs. And I said that the thing about folk songs is that they don't have to be old songs. There are more modern songs written in the folk song genre, in folk song idiom, and that's what we're going to listen to now. This is from the pen of Jimmy McCarthy. It's the Mary Black arrangement that Kirsty and Katie Lawrence chose. Now, this is a solo class, but I have to say that whilst Kirsty Lawrence was in charge of the singing, Katie Lawrence was playing the piano. And listen to the piano accompaniment, because it is both the singing and the piano, I think, are just really beautiful. And as was noted by the adjudicator, again Sarah Jeffries it was for this class, she said that Katie and Kirsty looked as though they were really enjoying themselves, and they did. I was standing there. I'm a drifter. I move between the various venues just to kind of get a flavour of what's going on, but rarely stay for the whole of a class because I'm wanting to see what's going on in another place. You can understand how that is. But I happened to be in whilst Kirsty and Katie were singing. In fact, I was there for most of the adult folk class. It was just so very, very entertaining. And the adjudicator, Sarah Jeffries, was absolutely right. They really did look as though they were thoroughly enjoying themselves. I hope you enjoy this performance of Katie by Kirsty and Katie Lawrence.
Tumbling curls of green by stained glass streaming light, and a yellow colored lampshade used to keep us up all night. The smile upon your face, the tear upon your cheek, the night sky by the window, your heart calling out to me. Come running home again, Katie. Come running home again. Cross my heart and hope to die. Will I cause another tear from your eye? The mirror that won't talk. Your nightgown on the door. The old pedal singer that just won't sing no more. You can roll the reel for hours. The movie of this book. There's a question mark on this heart of mine. Sends an elder back to look. Come running home again, Katie. Come running home again. Cross my heart and hope to die. Will I cause another tear from your eye, Katie? I'm looking through a tunnel back into the room with the genius of a druid, where the sunlight floods the tomb. And I'm never going back there. I couldn't anyway. 'Cause though I made the great escape, well, I never got away. Come running home again, Katie. Come running
Sisters Kirsty and Katie Lawrence. Beautiful singing from Kirsty and beautiful piano playing from her sister Katie. And coincidentally, the song is called Katie, Jimmy McCarthy's song, a modern folk song. Now, in a few moments, we're going to catch up on some more results from St Thomas's Church. I'll tell you a little bit about what was going on there. But ahead of that, let's listen to another young instrumentalist. And I've mentioned this young man before. He took a second place in one of the solo brass classes yesterday, playing his trombone, and he chose the hauntingly beautiful Skyboat song. This is William Gerard, who took a second place in the brass solo class for players up to age 11. Lots of encouragement there for our young soloists. That was William Gerard playing trombone. And the accompanist, again, for these solo brass classes, Naomi Cole, and the adjudicator, Catherine Page, again an adjudicator, full of encouragement, full of good advice and encouragement for the young players. And it's very interesting now that at the instigation of the adjudicators, marks are not read out. The body that all our adjudicators belong to, the national body, the international body, in fact, say that it's about grading players, and marks are given on the adjudication sheets, and marks are put up on the website so they can be seen. But the whole emphasis is on encouraging players of all ages, singers of all ages, encouraging, giving advice, more about encouragement and developing skills. Marks, of course, are given and marks are made available, but they're not publicised as being the only criteria for the classes. Encouragement and enjoyment as well. Enjoyment for the audience, enjoyment for those who take part. Right, we'll have a final bit of brass music after this break.
The Nation Station, Manx Radio.
Manx Radio's coverage of the Manx Music Festival is brought to you with Spectrum Windows. Find them on Facebook or spectrumwindows.im.
And I remember that a few minutes ago I was talking about food, and I said I'll tell you about the different arrangement that we've got, and then I didn't, did I? Sorry about that. Now, we have traditionally, in years gone by, had a cafe in the Colonnade Suite inside the Villa Marina. But we thought that this year we'd give a little bit more choice. And so the organisers, instead of having a cafe in the Colonnade Suite. The Colonnade Suite is open, and that incidentally is the room that's kind of between the Royal Hall and the Promenade Suite down at the bottom. It's just up a few stairs as you go in the main entrance area of the Villa Marina, just to your right and up a few stairs. Now that's open and it's available for anybody to go in, and you can just sit and perhaps while away a little bit of time if you're early for the class that you're going into, or you're waiting for somebody to come out of a class. You can go in there and just relax. If you would like to, you can take in some food. You can buy food outside and bring in some bag of biscuits or, some drinks or whatever. Quite handy if you've got a few children with you, as people often do. They often bring in their own children and other people's children as well to save transport, or if people are busy. So if you're bringing in lots of youngsters, you might bring in some bottles of lemonade and keep them occupied in that way. But also, if you want something a little bit more substantial, outside the Villa Marina, exactly outside, we've got the Barista Express, a wonderful van serving coffee, beautiful coffees. And next to them, we've got Philby's. And Philby's have got an absolutely mouth-watering menu of hot food. You've really got to go and have a look at the blackboard. Daily specials and lots of other things as well, like fish and chips and all burgers and that kind of thing. They're open from 12 till 3. And then they open again from 5 until 7:30, so just around the lunchtime and tea time periods. So Philby's is the van outside the Villa Marina, open from 12 until 3, and then again from 5 until 7:30. And the Barista Express coffee van is there and seems to be open the whole day. So if you want a really lovely coffee, you can just get that, and then you can pop in the Colonnade Suite and sit and drink your coffee there, or eat your food from Philby's. You're welcome to do that. If it's nice enough, of course, you can sit out on the bench on the green in front of the villa, and that is very lovely. And hopefully, if the temperatures creep up a little bit this week and it stays dry, that's what you'll be able to do. But we've got the wet weather option in the Colonnade Suite, where you can take in your food and your coffees from Barista Express and Philby's, or you can bring in your own food and eat that in the Colonnade Suite, and then come in the Royal Hall or the Promenade Suite and enjoy fantastic entertainment. Final bit of music here from the Ramsey Grammar School Pep Band. It was in their programme, which was all arranged for percussion and brass. It was 3 pieces of music that they chose. We've had 2 of them. This is the third. This is Ramsey Grammar School Pep Band, their 93 mark winning performance. If you're a fan of Dua Lipa, you will recognise that as Levitate, formed there by Ramsey Grammar School Pep Band. Right, let me tell you what happened in the dance classes. Let me tell you who took the glittering prizes. Unfortunately, dance, beautiful to look at, doesn't work terribly well on the radio, and I'm really, really sorry about that. But we'll tell you who danced beautifully and took the prizes. Let me just give you some incredible marks. Now, this is music I will definitely be playing for you, hopefully tomorrow night on our coverage of the Guild from 9 until 10 tomorrow evening. We finished the evening in the Promenade Suite last night with the brass solo adult players. And we, as I've said before, that 90 marks and above are very, very rarely given. But this is what you can look forward to. Not one, not two, but 3 performances were all marked in excess of 90. And we had third place, Ashley Cole, with 91 marks. Second place, Juan Wright, with 92 marks. And top of the class with 93 marks, Scott Mackey. So how about that? And then snapping on their heels were a couple of players with 89. But to have 3 people in a class getting marks in excess of 90 just shows you what a high standard. So we can look forward to listening to the music of Ashley, Scott and Juan on Today at the Guild, because every day between 9 and 10, our specialist music programmes will be replaced by Guild coverage just for this week. And my thanks to the presenters of our specialist music programmes this week who have so graciously given up their airtime so we can bring you a report each day of everything happening at the Guild. Now, the other thing that was happening, that was the dancing in the Royal Hall today. And we started with a ballet solo for the very young dancers, and this is 7 to 9 year olds. And we had an adjudicator today, Nathan James, again, very, very experienced in this field. And congratulations to Eliza Butterworth, who won the first class, the ballet solo for 7 to 9 year olds this morning. Well done, Eliza. That was followed by a tap dance solo class, again for young dancers. This is 8 to 11 year olds. And Fiona Watterson, congratulations to you, Fiona. And she was a class winner there. And Fiona, whose grandparents, Keith and Marion Watterson, are the backbone of Abbeylands Chapel. And I know that they would have been in the Royal Hall today and delighting to watch you dance, Fiona. Then we had group modern dance, again young dancers up to 11 year olds, and we had a number of groups taking part, again very, very entertaining class. And second place went to Gina's Dance Academy Group A, and they were just beaten by 1 mark. First place went in this class to Unity Dance School with the magic of dance inspired by Harry Potter. Then we had a ballet solo for, again, young dancers, 10 and 11 year olds. And congratulations to you, Emily Crane, dancing from Swan Lake. Emily took first place in that class. And then we went on to character dance duets. And again, these are quite young dancers. The top age limit for this is 15. And congratulations to class winners here, Summer Kelly and Shannon Skillen. And the name of their piece was Wonderland. And then we went back to tap dancing, again for slightly older dancers. This was 11 to 15 year olds. And well done to Erin Farragher. She was the first place in this class. And interestingly, everyone who took part in this class chose the piece Bye Bye Blackbird. But of course, 5 dancers will interpret it quite differently with their own individual style. So well done to Erin Farragher, who won the class for tap dance solo for dancers between the ages of 11 and 15. Group modern dance, again young dancers up to 15 years of age. Move It Studios had several groups in this, but it was Move It Studios E who took first place. And I really like the title of their piece, A Little Party Never Hurt Nobody. I think we'd all agree with that. Well done, Move It Studios E Group, who were the winners of the group modern dance for dancers up to the age of 15. More ballet this afternoon, and that was up to ages 15. And congratulations to Emma Hill, who won that class with a piece from The Nutcracker. Then we went on ballet solos, slightly older dancers, up to 16 years and over. And Rosie Baxter was the winner of this class. But in the next class, Rosie was in second place because we went from ballet back to tap. And again, this was 16-year-olds and over. And Sheila Ljubljana was the winner in this class. And Rosie Baxter, who'd won in the ballet class in the tap dance, Rosie took a second place. Then we went on to group modern dance for 16-year-olds and over. And Gina's Dance Academy were in the spotlight again. Their Group A were in first place here, and the piece Hit the Road Jack. And in second place in this class, Group Modern Dance for the slightly older dancers of 16 years and over, it was a second place for Unity Dance School. And then we went to Group Ballet. This was an open class. And again, Gina's Dance Academy doing very well. Her B group here were the winners in this class. And their theme was Time to Say Goodbye, which we are most definitely not doing. And we finished the afternoon with a group dance for adults. And this could be any genre at all. And it was Move It Studios B. They had two teams in this group dance for adults. They had Move It Studios had an A group and a B group, and it was B group who just inched ahead to take a win there with their Phoenix Rising Masters. And Group A were close behind, just 1 mark separating them. And I can't give you any more results because then we went on to the band classes and they were still going on as I was leaving the building. So that again will be something that we'll be talking about. Probably have those results for you in the breakfast show tomorrow because I'll be popping in and just doing a little quick report around about 8:25 going in to the breakfast show with Sean and Ben tomorrow morning. We do everything we can to bring the Guild to you, and we will have some videos for you to look at, and I'll tell you a little bit more how you can access those on our YouTube channel, on Manx Radio's YouTube channel. Lots of Guild videos for you to look at, and by that way we just hopefully bring you a little bit more of the flavour of the Guild. And that hymn is coming along very shortly. I played this particular piece of music on At Your Service last Sunday morning, and I have never had such a positive reaction. Lots of people saying exactly the same thing, that it was happy and uplifting and cheering, and they felt that if you were feeling a little bit down, a little bit fragile, that this would be just the kind of thing that would give you just the lift that you need. Now, the reason that this came into focus was because the player of the music was being given a very special award for his contributions to church music, particularly during lockdown when he made lots of videos of much-loved hymns, and they were put out online and benefited lots of people. The man is Gareth Moore. You are going to hear 6 voices and 2 pianos, and Gareth is doing all the voices, playing both pianos and using his technical skills to weave it all together. I hope that this gives you just the lift that you need as you listen to Gareth Moore once again singing and playing Count Your Blessings.
When upon life's billows you are tempest tossed, when you are discouraged thinking all is lost, count your many blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord hath done. Are you ever burdened with a load of care? Does the cross seem heavy you are called to bear? Count your many blessings, every doubt will fly, and you will keep singing as the days go by. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God hath done. Count your blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord hath done. So, amid the conflict, whether great or small, do not be disheartened, God is over all. Count your many blessings, angels will attend. Help and comfort give you till your journey's end. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God hath done. Count your blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord hath done. What the Lord hath done. What the Lord hath done.
Manx Radio's coverage of the Manx Music Festival is brought to you with Spectrum Windows. Find them on Facebook or spectrumwindows.im.
The Nation Station.